In a couple of days, I'll be flying to the island of Langkawi in Malaysia for 4 days to photograph its wildlife. And it's going to be all carry-on, no luggage. So let's see what I have in this. My camera bag, Wildlife Photography Edition. So taking note that I'm trying to keep the overall weight of my bag down for carry-on, let's get started to take a look at what I have decided to bring along. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Terence and I have been a wildlife photographer for the past 10 years. I am currently a Nikon ambassador, and here on my channel I create videos that talk about the biodiversity of our world and also tips and tricks to help you learn more about wildlife photography. Let's first start with the bag. This is the Nia Evo 60C, and let me tell you, it has been an absolutely incredible bag that ticks all the boxes you need as an outdoor photographer. I have a separate video which I will link at the end of this video telling you all about this bag as well as a discount code you can use should you be interested in it. But for now, I'll briefly go over some of the things that I love about this Nia Evo bag. The biggest plus is that this is a bag made for hikers that can fit photography gear. What that means is that most photography bags are not catered for carrying for long hours, but this bag integrates the ergonomics of a hiking bag, like its straps and frame, into it so that you can walk with it for long hours with no back and shoulder pains. What about capacity, you ask? Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because this bag fits my biggest telephoto lens plus the camera attached and more, and still has plenty of room for any other accessories or clothes. But can you take it on a plane? And the answer is absolutely yes. This size fits a carry-on. Seriously, great design, great capacity, great bag overall. I can't recommend this enough. And remember to check out the link at the end of this video if you want to learn more about this bag. Okay, then let's talk about everyone's most interested item, the camera. What I have here is the Nikon Z6 III, released just a couple of months ago. Great workhorse hybrid camera. I shoot both photos and videos, honestly more videos than photos, so this is really a perfect fit for me. Again, I have done a review of this camera for wildlife photography, link at the end of this video, be sure to check it out. And you'll probably notice that I do have a cage on this camera. It's probably a brand you've never heard before, neither have I, but it works well. I use this cage to mount different accessories out in the field, like a microphone, a flash, an LED light, and sometimes all of them all at the same time. I also have 3 batteries that I'm bringing along in this pouch right here, and thankfully these days I no longer bring a dedicated charger because I can charge it directly through the camera via USB-C. Saves me space. Again, it's all about saving weight and space since I'm only going carry-on. Alright, next let's talk lenses. I'm going real minimalist this time. 2 zooms covering almost every focal length that I need. The 24-120 f4 because I absolutely adore getting right up close to animals whenever I have the chance to get those wide angle shots. Super sharp, and I think pretty much everyone who has used this lens recommends it as an all-round lens. If there was only one lens I could ever own, it would be this. Don't even care about the long telephoto lens. But no, I'm kidding. Of course I care about the long telephoto lens. So the second lens I'm bringing is the 180-600 zoom to complement my 24-120. This combination basically covers from 24 all the way to 600 with a tiny gap in between that I don't really care about. This is another one of those you need to have lens as a Nikon wildlife shooter. Such a versatile lens. Okay, then I'm also bringing this. This is the Godox V860 is what it's called, I think. And this is a flash. It's not a new model or anything, but it does the job. Has a decent amount of power, though I wish I had gotten a smaller model since I hardly use it anywhere close to full power for my photography. But what I really use this flash for is for reptile or amphibian photography. Obviously, I won't use it on mammals or birds, especially nocturnal ones, because that actually harms their eyes. But many reptiles and amphibians are not as sensitive to light, so it's acceptable to use something like this, a flash. But I'm going to pair my flash with this, which is like a mini soft box to diffuse the light. I know there are many other diffusion modifiers around that are able to provide much softer light, but for now I'll just work with this. And because I shoot a lot of video as well, I have with me this very cheap microphone. I think it's from a company called Boya, and you just use a 3.5mm cable to plug it into the camera. No batteries required for the microphone, just plug and record. Nothing to write home about, just to get some ambient sounds or bird calls in better audio quality than using the camera's internal microphone. I also do love to record vlogs like these on the go, filming my experience and some behind the scenes content. So what I realized is that using a dedicated mirrorless camera is actually really cumbersome and heavy, especially when I already have a camera and long lens that I need to shoot wildlife with. So enter this, my solution, the DJI Action 2 camera. This is a fairly old action camera by today's standards, but it does the job. Let me tell you why I like it so much. Firstly, the size. This thing is pretty small and can be broken down into two parts to make it even smaller. I use something like this, which is a selfie stick to film myself on the go with great internal stabilization. It looks like I'm really just using a gimbal. And the audio quality straight out of this camera is also pretty decent, that I don't really bother with attaching any external audio solutions. And I also have this magic arm right here that I can use to attach to the case of my camera or any other places to get interesting angles. It's easy, fast, and light, so this DJI Action 2 quickly became one of my favorite content creation cameras. Downsides? Sure, it is absolutely poor in low light. Maybe someday I'll upgrade to the DJI Action 5 or something similar that performs better in challenging light conditions, but for now, I'm happy with what I have. And then let's look at the bottom of the bag, and you'll notice these MOLLE panels, another reason I love this Nia Evo bag. On one side of the waist strap, I have attached a torch. This is the Olight M2R Warrior torch, and I primarily use this at night when searching for nocturnal animals. I mean, it's always good to have a torch on hand, and this is really powerful for its size. You can switch between different power levels, and it gets really bright, but at the same time, it's pretty much indestructible, which is always an excellent feature for outdoor usage. Now on the other side of my waist strap, there is a pouch that I use to keep all of my accessories. This is super handy because I can just reach down and grab something that I need. I do have quite a few things inside, so let's go through some of those that are a bit more useful in the field. Here I have a small aperture light. It's kind of old, but it does the job. Only 5600 Kelvin, produces a decent amount of soft light. I use it to shoot smaller animals and mostly for video. I can either hand hold it like so, or attach it to the camera cage with this hot shoe attachment. Inside the pouch I have some lens cleaning items, always useful to have on hand. But you know what's really important, especially in these tropical jungles that I'm primarily shooting in? Bug spray. Here I have military grade mosquito repellent, and it's really powerful and does a good job at keeping those mosquitoes and ticks and mites away. Also very potent towards leeches. One spray on a leech and it's cling on you and the leech basically releases its bite. Can't do without this. Then for the rest of the space that I have in this bag, which is still plenty, I have other things like clothes, a hat, basic toiletry, some electronics and essentials which I won't go through. But you might be thinking, that's not a lot for a wildlife trip. And you're probably right. I would love to bring more things, but I do still have to consider the weight limitations of bringing it on an airplane. So here are some of the things that I chose not to bring and why. Firstly, I did not bring a second camera body. Sure, it would be nice to switch cameras instead of lenses, but really I can't justify all that additional weight. No monopod as well, that's too large to fit into my carry-on, though if there is one regret, it's probably this, since I shoot so much video. I do hope that my video clips will not turn out too shaky. I would also really love to bring my binoculars, but after some consideration, I had to let that go, especially because my pair of binoculars are really big and bulky. Of course, a drone would be nice for an island getaway like Langkawi, but it's really more of a want than a need. No macro lens as well, since I'm not super into macro photography, and no prime lenses, unfortunately, can't bring them all. So that's all there is in my camera bag. Thank you so much for watching, all you gear obsessed people. If you want to learn more about the bag, do check out my link over here or see my review about the Nikon Z6 III. If you enjoyed this video, do support me by giving me a thumbs up, and it will be super helpful if you subscribe too to get more videos about wildlife photography and wildlife in general.